social media. So remember what y'all say at the point they say we're live. Everybody,
We're actually already live.
Yeah,
we're live
right
on
now.
Facebook. We're live on YouTube right
Live
now.
on YouTube?
Yeah.
All
So just so everybody
Why are we
knows.
in here talking?
Right, we're live Monday. We just started being live on YouTube, like maybe a few seconds ago.
yes.
It wasn't very long, right? So yeah, we always try to warn people when there's a hot mic.
Right.
We always try to warn people that.
All right.
Because
So all
that'd be bad.
Hot
Sorry.
mic means it's on.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, that means everyone can hear you.
All right.
So they can't hear us on the radio stream, but they can hear it. But all the other streaming things are going on. But we're getting ready to go on, and so I'm gonna introduce Kim. I'm gonna introduce you. I'm gonna introduce everybody, but I'm gonna throw it to you. And I'm sorry, Floshisha. I'm sorry. My bad. I have the wrong person. Yeah.
Put the phone down.
No, the phone has the right names on it. I just looked in the wrong place. So I'm gonna introduce you first, and then I'm gonna say their names, but then I'll go right to you. Just, like introduce the background as well.
Are you?
Like in terms of like the meeting, and I'm gonna ask you questions about that, and you can bring them in. But I'm gonna be going to you to bring them in. Kind of. It's not that. I mean, it's not that. I'm just gonna ask you what happened and stuff like that. Like what the issue is with water, and what, like, because I think that this segment's really good because we're actually talking about what actual homeowners are going through and what is it when you actually have issues with lead. Because a lot of times we're talking about it theoretically, as in if you read all the newspapers, they're not really talking about the people who are. They're really talking to the people who are involved and are getting help and are seeking to deal with what's going on. There's a process that people just aren't familiar with, and you're going through it. So I think that is something that can be very informative, so that people would know better. From this segment, people are going to know better what to do and what happens during that process. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. You're like, what? Who is this? What have I gotten into? All right. But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right. So,
You look like you should have prepped me for this.
no, but it's
We
good.
came a little early, right?
No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna
Question
be good.
sheet.
All right, so I'm getting ready to go in right now. DJ Rhino, good? All right. Welcome back to All Politics Are Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. We are here with, in a very important segment, with Board of Education member, community activist, well known for her good work throughout the city, Floshisha Hill, and she's here with her neighbors. Like we all know that we have the water crisis going on in the city of Newark. We've got issues with and I think the issues are twofold. There's the issue with the water, and there's issue with a lot of information about what's going on with the water. And so to bring some light and clarity, Floshisha Hill is here to really talk about what's going on with her neighbors. She lives in the South Ward, the Great South Ward.
I live in the West Ward.
I grew up in the West Ward. I grew up on West End Avenue.
It's not too far.
All right, so all right, so she's here from with neighbors from the West Ward as well, and talk.
Same block.
All right, same block, and blocks that were affected by the issues of lead and water that we have now. So, Floshisha, welcome. She brought her neighbors Adrian Burns and Octavia Bradley with us. So, Floshisha Hill, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for bringing your neighbors. What's going on in the West Ward with the water?
So as you know, our street was one of the ones that were affected were the lead pipes. And so I live in the West Ward, been living in the West Ward now for the last 7 years. And Adrian is actually my landlord. I live in her home, so she's a homeowner. And Octavia, she lives across the street from me. And as you know, you reached out because you saw that we had the mayor. He came over to our house and he did like a little meet and greet. And he was giving us different facts, true facts about what was going on with the lead replacement pipe program that they're initiating in the city.
And that's a lead replacement pipe program that will be used within the home that you live.
Yes, and that was in regards to the $120 million that they got from the county.
Okay, so what was going on at the meeting? What did the mayor say?
So it was the mayor, it was Councilman McCullen, who's the councilman in the West Ward, and it was Kareem, who's the director of the water department in Newark. And they were basically
Kareem
giving,
Nadeem.
yes, Kareem Nadeem, I'm sorry.
That's
And
right.
they were basically it was probably about 30 people in attendance. It was all neighbors that lived on our block, and it was a couple that lived on the next block over, which is Commonwealth. And he just came and he gave us a real live session of what was really happening, and he answered any questions that they had or any questions that they were unclear of. And they also passed out the applications that you fill out that you can be put into this program. And one thing that he wanted to see done was that he wanted everyone to sign the application so they could come in one shot and do the whole block. So it wouldn't be house by house by house. So he wanted everyone to sign off together.
So it was a block meeting.
Yes.
So like your whole block association got together, your block got together.
We actually don't have a block association. We're just a real strong block.
Okay.
We've been working on it,
Yes.
though. We've been working on it.
Yeah.
So your strong block got together.
Yes.
Right.
So, and you know what, with the mayor referenced in, I think from reaching out to our particular block list, because we had an incident where a developer wanted to come into our block and build a 3-story apartment building on a corner.
Okay.
And so we came together as a block and we fought. And the attorney at hand was Betty Grayson. And she, she's a very avid lawyer in the city of Newark, and she's really die hard, really strong. But we won that case. We went back and forth to court maybe about 3 times, and the mayor, he even wrote a letter of support to us for this building. Yes,
okay.
Because he saw how adamant we were, and it was just not a good fit for our block. Everybody that's on our block has been there for over 30, 40, 50 years. And everybody that's renting, we're all a working class population, and like we take pride in our block, Yep.
Okay, so at the meeting, what did he tell you that you learned? What did you learn from the meeting?
Well, the one thing that I got out of the meeting was that he wanted everybody to come together as a block to sign this paper so that they can come in one-shot deal. It's going to take 4 hours to complete it.
Wait, that's 4 hours?
4 hours.
Per
Yep.
home.
Per home. Yeah.
Wait, so it only takes 4 hours per home to change the deadline?
Yep. That's what we were informed.
Okay, because I didn't see, again, I'm learning stuff I didn't know before. Somehow I thought it would be like a day's process or a couple of days or weeks process to be able to do this. And I thought it would be very arduous.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 hours per house.
Yep.
And
someone has to be home when they do it. And they will take before and after pictures of your property and to make sure that there's nothing damaged. And if there's damage on their end, they will replace it and they will be responsible for it. And they said 4 hours.
okay, so was there anything else discussed at the meeting in terms of the order? And Adrian Burns or Octavia Butler, feel free to jump in as well.
Well, I can expand on the 4-hour portion of it, because the intention is just for them to pull the lead line out from by the curb, by the sidewalk, so that it's less disruption to the property itself. So it's not like they're gonna dig up the
your
property.
lawn.
No, they're gonna pull the line out, push the new one in, and then reconnect it to the meter within the home.
Wow.
So
okay.
that's why the process is only 4 hours, and it's less disruptive to the property.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought we're gonna have to dig up your lawn, go up all in your house. Like I thought, well, when they're talking about removing the lead lines from the house, and I knew the lead lines were on private property, I just knew that it was gonna be something that was gonna be a lot more extensive. So so when you're talking about the meeting and you're talking about this, what else was there a conversation that was had about the water itself? Like what are you doing in your homes now? Because apparently since you have lead lines, were your homes testing higher for levels of lead? And this could be to any of you, right? Like, were you concerned about like lead being in your water?
Not overly concerned, because the amount of use in a 3-family home is more than it would be in a single family home, which means that the chemical that was applied to the pipes that is sort of like an adhesive to the lead pipeline,
Right.
that sucks the lead out of the water. The more water use, this is my understanding, the more you use the water in the home, the less likely or the less lead that would be in the home. So in a 3-family home, and also in a home where they wash everybody's car, my son washes the cars for people on the block, and so so the water is constantly in use. It's constantly running. So it was less likely that we would have a high level of lead. So the actual pure filter, along with, if you wanted to, a Brita, the
Brita water,
right. If you were to use that pure filter along with the Brita water filter, you wouldn't have any lead.
So
is my understanding.
So what you were understanding and what you were doing, and this is what you were doing within the homes that you own.
Yes.
Like your water was going through pure filters. You were also using Brita filters on top of that.
Yes.
So you're actually filtering your water twice.
Actually, yes. Okay. And that's removing like the majority of the lead from the lead lines. Yes.
Okay, so you're being extra cautious, and after this is done, you won't have to worry about that.
That's correct. We won't have that issue anymore once the lead line is replaced. So, like Flo mentioned, the approach that they presented to us was to try to get everyone on the block to sign up for the program. We're going to collect the applications for the people that weren't able to attend the meeting. We're going to collect them and provide them to the mayor's office, and then they're going to take action, not long after that.
So it's block by block.
That was they said was the best approach.
That's
because it was that was the best approach, so that they can do because if you look at it 4 hours per house,
right,
and then it's less disruptive to the block because that you have to block off the block. There's going to be detours and all that. So if you can get it done all at one time, it would be less disruptive to the block as well.
Kind of like a grid, right? Like
yeah,
everyone on this block is going to get done, and that's how they're going around the entire city. They're encouraging blocks to get together and blocks to actually, fill out the application together.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay, and are you? And I was going to ask Octavia, Bradley, are you in the same? You're in the same block? Are you in the same house as well, or?
I'm not in the same house. I am across the street. Yes.
Are you a homeowner?
Yes.
And so, how did you react? Like, did you test your water, and were you concerned? And how did the mayor's meeting? How did that meeting? How did you react to that? What did you feel you needed to do?
I didn't test the water because how old our house is. We know that we have to have the lead pipes changed. I was not overly concerned. We have 5 children, so we are constantly using water in the house, and we were able to when the filters were given out, we were able to get filters. We were able to get the waters, from the recreation center. There's one of the concerns that I just actually had that the mayor, I felt at ease with when the mayor spoke, was how are we going to pay for it? How was it going to get paid? And so once the mayor mentioned about the grant that he was possibly going to be getting to get all of this work done, and we don't have to pay anything. That was my biggest concern. Like, how was it going to get paid? What's going to happen once it get done? And there was talk before about it being paid over a number of years, but at this time we don't have to pay for it. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay, because you're like, this is a $10,000 or $12,000 expense that you're not going to have to deal with right
Absolutely.
now, right?
Absolutely.
And when now did you have your water tested?
No, I did not have my water tested.
But you use the filters and you're getting bottled water.
Yes, but my address is on the list. So if your address is on the list, it doesn't make sense to get the water tested because
you just assume
it's already
All right, so you just assume that your water has lead and that you need to filter and that you need to get bottled water, et cetera, right?
Yes.
And that's so. What do you recommend for? And this is a question open for anybody. What do you recommend for other blocks, other communities to do? Like, and who are also on the list, who are also facing what you're facing.
You should go online and sign up for the program.
Absolutely.
They have their pipes changed.
So how do they do that? Like, what is that? I mean, because it sounds like a crazy, simple question, but a lot of people aren't signing up, right? So, is it a complicated process?
No, not at all. Even the sheet that they bought is only one sheet.
Yes.
It's one page.
One page.
No front, no back. No back. It's just a front sheet. I think it's maybe 5 or 6 questions on the sheet, and that's it. You turn it over to the city.
How long did it take you to fill it out? Like,
Like
2
Less than
minutes.
2 minutes.
So really, and I'm asking this question over and over again,
Yeah.
right? Because it's to just emphasize, right? Like,
Mhm.
is it a complicated process? And you're like, nah.
No.
I mean,
No.
one sheet of paper, fill it out,
Mhm.
real basic kind of.
Yes, and then they ask you, oh, one of the questions on the application on the sheet is if you want to participate in the program so that the city can continue to come and test your water after the lead pipe replacement has been completed. So you can enroll into the testing program so that they can continue to come and test, your water over a certain period of time. That's one of the questions that's on the application.
And do you recommend
also-
that people fill that out as well?
I did because, over time you want to make sure that what they put in there is actually working. So it's Newark Lead Service Replacement line.com, and I would
Can you
recommend,
repeat that again? It's what?
I think it's Newark Lead Service Replacement.com is the website. And I would also, I would suggest that you get in touch with your local councilman and see if you can, schedule a meeting or something to for your block
Mhm.
because that's pretty much what we did.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so really, you talk to your councilman, and your councilman basically helped set this up.
No.
Okay, so you're like,
Yes.
no, that's
They
not what
reached
happened.
out. They reached out.
Well, the
Oh,
way,
so the councilman reached out to you.
yeah,
Yes.
the councilman, yes, that's pretty much how that worked out.
Okay.
In this situation, that's how it worked out, only because of the prior incident that
Yeah.
Flo talked about
And
earlier.
they saw, how we came together,
and they
you know,
looked at us as an organizer
Yeah.
for the block, for the
Yeah.
community.
Okay.
So in that regard, I would say if you could reach out to your local councilman's office to see if they can maybe set up a meeting, even if the mayor can't be present, it could just be the councilman
and the aides.
and the aides
Yeah.
and the water director, and they can provide you, the community, with those applications so that they can get the same type of like house by house
Mhm.
and get it done all that in one shot.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
now
I
what?
think that's the best approach.
Now, one of the things I heard that mayor was doing was attempting to go to all 18,000 homes that are affected, so that they can fill out these forms.
Mhm.
Was this a part of that effort? Was this a part of the, hey, you're on this list?
I
Reach
think
out?
so. Yeah. Yeah, because ultimately that's what happened. They came
Yeah.
with the clipboard. They had
Yes.
the applications,
Yes.
and they knew that we were a strong unit. And they knew
Mhm.
everybody was going to be engaged and involved and ready to sign off on it. And so that's exactly what happened.
And for those that weren't able to attend,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to provide us with additional applications, and Flo and I are probably just going to walk the block,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to have them sign the application right there and just submit the whole packet at one time.
And this is interesting, right? Because like you just said that you and Flo were going to be like basically walking the entire block and just going door to door
Yeah, for
to
those that weren't able to attend.
for those who
yes.
weren't able to attend
Mm-hmm.
to give them applications. So
Mhm.
this is like well, Luisha, you've always been a community activist, right? Like you like from what I'm familiar with you, like you've always been in the community trying to make things better. Going door to door is not a big deal. Like that's just Tuesday.
Mm-mm. And they even reached back out to Adrian and was like they're gonna drop off
Yeah.
a pallet of water for us to distribute in our block. Yeah.
Okay.
And asked if it was okay
Yes.
for us to do. And that was kind of cool. Like, so they won't have to go to Boylan Street and pick up the cases of water. We could just do that. Get a little hand truck and just roll it down the street and just,
Or get our sons.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because that's what we do.
Right.
It's for real. Because
Right.
my son,
We do
my
take care-
youngest
we
son,
take care of them.
he actually went and walked and got Miss Freeman and helped her walk down the street because she walks with a cane. She's elderly. So
Oh.
he helped her come to the meeting. So it's like we're like a little community
We
on
look
our
out
block.
for each other.
Yeah. And if there's anybody that's out here listening right now to the radio show and you need an application, like if you inbox me on Facebook or get in contact with you through your radio show, I'll make sure you get an application.
All right. So this is like community coming together in the way that community needs to come together.
Mhm.
Like the city cannot go to. I mean, this is one of the main things the mayor said. Like they can't go to all 18,000 homes like that. they need help.
And you know, it was one of my neighbors, and like I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. Like she looked at me and she was like, you know, you no, because it was real. Like she was like, you taking sides. Like we already know whose side you on. And I'm like, come on, man. Like I got two sons, 15 and 17 years old. When I grew up in the South Ward. I grew up on 100th Street, and 100th Street is a family-owned house. My aunt still lives in that house, and that house is affected by lead. So I lived in that house until I went to college. Left for college, came back, moved in the house next door, which is also a lead service line. So then I moved over here, and there's a lead service line. This is the only house that my sons they lived in. My husband, he felt some type of way. He's from Maplewood, so he was like, you know, we got to go get the boys tested for lead. And I'm like, well, you go ahead and you take them. Like 40 years, over 40 years, I've been drinking the lead water in Newark. So if I'm affected, it's like already in me. So there's nothing I can do about it now, right? So my husband, he went and took my sons to our own private pediatrician and had them both tested for lead, and they have no lead.
But that's good, right? Because I think that like part of the issue is that, you know, the chemical treatments before worked, right?
Yeah.
The chemical treatments stopped working. So I mean, I've always said on this show, everybody should be tested for lead.
Yeah.
Like your kids should be tested for lead every year, because there are other sources of lead.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have lead, like you might find out that they removed the lead lines,
Mm-hmm.
but there's someone in your house with lead fixtures,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you might so you might need testing to know if there's more lead inside of your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are all sorts of things that can go wrong in terms of the environment that we live in. These are
Mm-hmm.
old infrastructure. There are places that are built on top of places where factories used to be, right? So they're all, given like where we are, there are a lot of environmental things that can go wrong. So ain't nothing wrong with testing, right?
No, absolutely not.
Test your kids, right? Like go to the doctor, right? Like make sure your water's tested. If you're already on there, you're like, I know I don't need testing. I'm assuming that, you know, I do have higher rates.
But, you know, one of our neighbors, she thought she had a lead service line, and Kareem actually went over to her house and tested it, and her pipes were copper.
Right.
Yeah, so she was good.
Right, and at least you got that peace of mind, right?
Yeah.
Right, because part of it
But
is...
she was like, very adamant.
Right. You're like, no, I got lead in here.
Exactly.
No, you got to test this.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
right?
it's
nothing
not.
wrong with that. You got to, and they tested it for free, right?
Yep. Right then and there.
Right. And so I think that a lot of this is like, well, what is the experience in the community? Reach out to the city.
Yeah.
City's gonna reach back because this is something that they have $120 million to replace all these lines, and it's an agenda to replace all lines in the city, right? So what is this with taking sides? Like, explain that.
Oh no, that was.
No, I'm just asking, right? Because our city, we live in Newark, it's heated, it's contentious, right? Like so you're like, look, you're gonna keep it real, like, you know, you got accused of taking sides, and, you know. So what does that even mean?
I don't even know.
The way I saw it when the situation was happening, I think a lot of times people are comfortable with negativity, and they're comfortable with placing blame. And so what Floshisha was doing was she was co-signing with what the mayor was saying, but everything was correct. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to agree with the mayor, that's just that. No, you know, Floshisha, she's here for our people. But what the mayor was saying was accurate. So she agreed with what the mayor was saying. But because people just want to always place blame, and then when they look at the news, they want to go with what the news is saying, as opposed to listening to the person that's right here in your community, then that's what people are comfortable with. So I think when that person was saying, oh, you're taking sides, it was more so a joke, but people really think like that. People are really, really think that way.
Luckily, old Miss Adrian was there.
Feel like it could have gone worse,
Because it was good, okay, all right. I know how passionate Floshisha gets about stuff, and I just saw it in her face. I said, oh my God, this is not gonna be good. It's like, just take it down. Take it down a little bit.
You're like, whoosha.
Exactly.
But this was the same person who had the copper line.
Okay, so and got their lines tested, right?
Right to the air.
Right. So I mean, but that's why I'm saying that, like, man, I do not fault people for being mad about this issue. I do not fault people for being angry, upset.
No, that's right.
You know, because I think that the response always has to be there.
Yeah.
If someone's like, I think I got lead, I think that I think that your list is wrong, right? Because it could be, right?
Yeah.
I think your list is wrong. I think that I got lead pipes. Test. And the city said, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, you good.
And then he did address the issue because there were a couple of people that was there that was saying that they got turned away from being able to get the water because they were saying that they weren't
That had
on
a
the
different
list.
address.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And that was a common complaint, especially in the beginning. What was the response?
Well, he said that everybody's allowed to get water.
Absolutely.
So even if you're not, and this is actually really important because I know that in the first few days,
Mm-hmm.
they were turning people away who weren't on the list,
Mhm.
right? But as of right now, as of like really weeks ago, right? A few weeks ago, that anyone who, and Rahman Muhammad was on here last week saying this really clearly. So if you go to any of these places,
Mm-hmm.
they will give you water.
Yep.
Because everybody's been saying that if you go to these places now, they will give you water. It might not have happened in the first few days. So if you got turned away early, go back because they've been given instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Their instructions are anybody who asks for water will get water.
Right.
They just have to submit their house for testing.
I do think you still need an ID though.
Yeah, ID.
You still need ID to show that you live in the city. So you have to have a driver's license or something with an address on it that says
like
you're in New
bill
Jersey.
or something like that. Anything.
Anything
that you got that shows your address on it.
Correct. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think it has to be an ID though. I don't think it could be a bill.
No, it would be. They were looking for ID.
Yeah, ID, not a bill.
Okay. All right. So
you could have like 3-4 different bills. Well, they said people was doing that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh wait, people were coming back like 2 times for ask code.
It was
All
one
right.
person that had gotten 38 cases.
Wow.
In a 2-day period or something like that. I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So,
38 cases.
something like that.
Hey. You know, whether there's somebody out there trying to get it. Okay?
Oh man.
I don't know how true it is, but I did hear that.
All right, well, I ain't mad at that either. They were thirsty. It's hot.
But one thing that the mayor did say too, like he said, people was telling him that they were taking baths in the bottled water. And
No!
Yeah.
Bottled water,
Yeah,
yes.
but like he said, when the water is not running, you're not giving it the chance to flow.
Right.
So if you stop and you cut off the flow of the water, then you letting the lead build up.
But also something that I didn't know this, right?
Yeah.
Like when the governor came out and said that, if you bathe in lead water, that is not going to hurt you.
No.
Right. I mean, but I have to admit though, when I heard the governor say that, I was like, what? you must be kidding, right? What? You expect me to? But I mean, it's one of those things that it's counterintuitive, but it's actually true. Right?
Yeah.
But so I can understand why somebody.
So he was on board with taking a bath in bottled water. He was on board with that.
I mean,
That's like 3 cases of water.
Right.
I use a bottle of water to fill up a pan to boil some rice. It took like 10 bottles of water.
Right.
I'm like, come on, this is crazy. Right?
There.
Yeah.
Right. We're like pure. Get it together.
Yeah. Because I can't even imagine filling up a tub of bottled water.
Right.
I can't.
I'm hoping that's just a story that we just
Probably, but I don't know.
Sounds like you was on board with it, though.
I mean, I can't say that. I can't say that I'm mad at him. I can't say that, like, oh, I may be. I mean, I am not condoning that. Please do not use the bottled water to bathe with. That is probably an irresponsible and bad use of bottled water. I am not condoning that at all. I'm just saying. I'm not hating on the individual who might have done such a foolish and unnecessary and wasteful thing.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's why communication is necessary.
Yeah.
People know what
Just
to
so
do.
they know what to do.
Yeah.
But also too, like on the website.
Oh, and make sure to please keep it to the mic.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
They have a where you take like a penny or something and you could scratch the pipe in your home that's connected to your meter and determine whether it's
Lead
or copper or something
Wait.
else.
Please explain this to me because I've never heard this before. And is this something that came out at the meeting?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. I was like, where did you hear this?
Okay. Well,
Did you hear this in the barber shop?
No.
Did you hear this in church afterwards?
I'm trying to
Or did you hear this at the meeting? I'm sorry.
What he yelling for?
I'm sorry.
My Lord.
My bad, miss. I apologize. I
That's
got
how they
carried
be,
away.
though.
I got carried away.
I see. But
In real life.
like I was trying to inform, okay, like I was saying, you can take a coin and scratch the pipe that's connected to the water meter within the basement of your home.
Mhm.
And then when you scratch it, if it's like a brownish color, you know it's copper, right?
Mhm.
So that line wouldn't be affected.
Mhm.
If you scratch it and it's like a shiny silvery like color, then you know that's probably lead. And the lead is a softer pipe too. Like if it's so, and the other one would be galvanized steel.
Mhm.
So the galvanized steel would stay like the same color when you scratch it. And it's on the website too. It has that description of how to do it on the website.
Oh,
too.
wow.
I found that out later. Yeah, because you could take a and scratch it, and that'll let you know.
That's how she knew she had copper pipe across the street.
Yeah, because she
Mhm.
scratched. See that? See that?
I still
All
wanted
that-
water,
all
huh?
that mess she was talking.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, I mean, thank you for that, because again, I had no idea you could just
So go
scratch
home
the
and
Yeah,
pipe.
you can scratch it by the water
Right,
meter.
and just scratch the
Because
water
you
meter.
wanna scratch the pipe that's going into your meter because that's the pipe that comes out that's the lead service line pipe.
Okay, and all this, talk of, testing stuff, I still have not actually officially tested.
You?
Yeah, no.
No?
You
No,
can.
I was told I'm in an area that's not necessarily affected,
Yeah.
but,
So go
I
home and do the
still,
test.
I will go home and do the test, and I will
Yes.
go and see if I'm on that, list.
Oh, you never checked the list? Oh wow.
Man,
I've been talking all this time about the water in the list,
All this talking.
and I
haven't
just,
taken any action.
I got a filter.
He kind of like me, like if it's there, it's there. Like if it's gonna be there, it's gonna be there.
All right, well,
All this
well, I
talking
mean,
didn't take any action.
but I did get a filter, and I've been using that filter quite religiously,
Okay.
and drinking only filtered water, and then it kind of messed me up when, Pure came out, and it was like, I'm not gonna work. So I was like,
And I think that was something else that the mayor mentioned too, that they only tested a limited number of homes.
like
So,
three.
yeah, so that's not like conclusive data for
Yeah.
any type
Right.
of
Right.
research or any type of analysis. 3 out of 18,000 is not right. That's not a good sample size.
Right, and which is why they said they need to do more extensive testing.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
and that's
yes,
fair, and that's
yes,
why also they said, hey, bottled water until we do testing.
Yes.
I
yes.
thought telling everyone to get bottled water was a very positive
Yeah.
overreaction.
Right.
As in, like, they only tested 3, but 2 failed. So they're like, look, everybody get bottled water, stop everything.
Mhm.
Even though we only tested 3, we don't know enough to say that these are fully safe filters. Get bottled water. I think that stopping that right then, I'm only testing 3 and then going, we need to give everybody bottled water. We need to, blow this thing up so that everyone gets bottled water and everybody understands what's going on. Because I think that was a positive thing because
And it came from the mayor.
Preventative measurement, yes.
It didn't
It's a
come from, it didn't come from anybody else but the mayor. So even with only those 3, it came right from the mayor. So I think that was excellent that he took that precaution when it came to that.
Yeah.
Because it was others that I forget I think it was Channel 9 News, My 9 News that came out and was trying to test water secretly, but then they didn't find anything in the water, so they couldn't report anything.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's
So,
right.
yeah.
I
So,
think we all applaud the mayor
Yeah,
for
definitely,
the
definitely.
action that he's
Yeah.
taking
yeah.
on trying to, keeping the community informed
Mhm.
Mhm.
and then, making sure we all have clean drinking water. I applaud him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that made me really understand that there were lots of different communication issues is reading the New York Times article that came out
Oh,
and understanding
Yeah,
that there
they-
was just so much that was actually missing, like objectively missing, right? Like
Mhm.
like the fact that he had already gone to the state to change the laws so that they can fund these private homeowners, right?
Yeah.
Like yourselves,
Yeah.
changing these lines, right?
Mhm.
At first, I thought that it was city pipes that were lead lines, right? And I thought that it was a problem of city municipal pipes.
Mhm.
But in terms of reading, and that's what the New York Times article led you to believe.
Yeah.
They
Right.
led you to believe that the lead came from municipal pipes, and that's why it was a citywide problem in the way it was. Not that we actually know there are 1,800 homes. There's a history behind it
Mhm.
that's been going on for years. Like
Yes.
even the point of having to test, having to put chemicals in water to coat lead,
Mhm.
right? That is there on private homes. I thought that those were municipal lines that they had to coat, right?
Mhm.
Because it just made. I mean, to me, it was like, well, there's, you're treating the water, then it must be municipal lines that are there. But I mean, you learn to find out that these are privately owned lines, that they actually have to change the law so that they can use money, public money, to give to private homeowners for this to happen. Because in years past, people were like, you own the home, you own the home,
Yes.
that's your problem.
Yeah.
Yes,
You need to fix it, right?
yes, yes. Well, because the way it was explained is the owner is responsible for the pipe from the main, which runs down the center of the road to the home. So I should say from the curb to the home. The city's responsible for it from the main to the curb. The homeowner has from the curb to the home.
Right.
Is the responsibility of a homeowner. So the cost of fixing anything initially was going to be the homeowner's bill, would have to foot the bill. And then they came out with the other program where the homeowner would only have to pay $1,000 over time to replace the line. And then the last portion, the final course of action is for the homeowner not to have to come out of pocket for anything.
Yep.
As the city will pay.
And so as homeowners, like, I'm sure that you were talking about how you absolutely appreciated that.
Yes.
The good councilwoman from Orange talked about that before, and how in Orange it costs between 10 and 12,000. But you know, I'm getting the swirl around in terms of we need the time to go. But you know, I think that we do have a bit more business to do. First, I just want to thank all of you for coming out, and Floshisha, thank you for doing all the putting together that you always do. You are an excellent community activist.
Thank you.
And so thank you for all the work that you've done on school boards. Thank you for the work that you've done in the community over the years. Much appreciated, right? Like as someone who lived from the West Ward, so from the West Ward, I grew up on West End Avenue.
You was in West Side?
I went to Mount Vernon, and then I went to Science.
Oh, okay.
But back then Valesburg was around too, right? Like so, so.
My husband went to Valesburg.
All right, cool. Yeah, I had a lot of friends with. I went to Mount Vernon from K to 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that way back in the day. But we do have one more thing to ask each of you. Because we are all politics, the local America's number one hip hop radio talk show.
He's scaring me.
And Floshisha, you've already gotten this question. However, you can answer it again, and maybe it changed. Because we are America's number one hip hop radio talk show, we ask, who's your favorite hip hop artist, individual, or group? Or you can say who is your favorite hip hop artist as of right now. So anyone can jump in and answer, or because I want the answers from all three of y'all before we end this. So
I'm gonna have to think about that, because that's not really my genre right now. I'm at my age.
At your age.
I have to think about that for a minute.
Think about that. If you under 30, you should know. You under 30, 35? I'm sorry, but you look really young. Stop lying about your age.
Thank you.
You're
I
very
appreciate that.
Talk about not your genre. They're lying up here on the radio.
I can't. See. I would have to go with Tupac and Ziggy from back in the day. That's hey.
Back in the day.
Y'all want me to do my little
the little 90s dance. Right?
Yes. What did you say?
LL Cool J.
Oh, I think you said that last time too, right?
It's always gonna be the same.
All right.
Well, she just like the way you look.
She's like, I'm not lying. That's it. All right. And how about you, Octavia?
I would say J. Cole.
J. Cole.
J. Cole, man.
All right. So we got different generations. We got LL, we got Pop, and we got J. Cole. All right. So thank you so much for coming out here. This is actually really important because we're talking about these things theoretically, but these are things that are your lived reality, right? Like you are a homeowner. You have lead line pipes. You were like, I'm not even going to test my water because I'm assuming that it's going to have higher rates of lead in it. So I'm going to do I'm going to filter it twice. I'm going to use bottled water, right? But I'm very much going to sign up for these programs. I like when you said you did it for the block. The whole block is doing it together. Yes. I think that's new, right? Like that's the first time I've heard that a block by block approach is probably the best thing. That's new. This is the first time I've heard this, and I think more people should spread the word on that. Like many people who have lead lines often know it, and if you do organize your block, and when they're coming around, I know the mayor is going to be coming around and get volunteers to go to all 18,000 homes, and I think it really makes sense to, like what he's saying, and how this is going to go is really block by block, because the houses are around the same age, so it makes sense. So thank you for coming out, because I think this was very helpful and clarified things to readers.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, I just wanted to say one thing. Like,
Yes.
a big takeaway that I got from the meeting with the mayor, it was that one of our senior citizens who live on our block, and she was on the program where you had your pipes were being under an insurance with the city, and like, so if something happens to your pipe, if it bursts or something like that, then you pay this insurance on a monthly fee, or it gets taxed onto your water bill.
Oh, wow.
And it was something that was very minimal. It was only $7 a month,
Okay.
and she couldn't afford it.
Wow.
And she's a homeowner for over 50 something years.
Yes.
And it's her and her husband are on fixed income. And that was like a big takeaway for me. So it was like, I wonder how many other senior citizens who can't afford to pay for this insurance to their pipes.
Right.
So that was a big takeaway for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because people, and that's a new takeaway for me too.
Yeah.
Because one of the criticisms is these are homeowners.
Yeah.
They're responsible.
Yeah.
Right. If you own a home,
Yeah.
then you have to pay for repairs
Yeah.
anyway.
Because even out here talking in the green room before we even came here, the gentleman made the statement like $7, they can't pay it. No, they're senior citizens. They're on a fixed income.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, and that's something that we have to take into consideration.
So just imagine if they would have had to pay that $1,000.
It just wouldn't have been done.
No.
Wouldn't have been done.
Nope.
All
And
right.
that was the cheapest of
Yeah.
the plans.
Right. And that's $7. So,
Yeah.
Yes, that was the cheapest of that city water plan.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, because I'm taken aback, because that's something that's really relevant to our city and many people in our city. So again, thank you for the good work that all of you are doing, really, in terms of helping the block, educating the city, and again, you'll be coming back again to just let us know what happened, let us know what's going on. All right, so.
Follow up.
Definitely.
30 days.
We need to do a follow-up, right?
Oh.
We need to do a follow-up, because, if the city don't do it right, you might be like, I'm taking a different side. They were supposed to be here 30 days ago. Now.
I need that, you might have something there.
Right. So,
I have faith.
right, and that's great. So thank you so much, because again, this has been really helpful. And this is All Politics Are Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. We have DJ Rhino here. He's the best DJ in the entire universe. He's the best DJ in the entire universe. He's not a secret. He's something we're gonna share with the whole world. That's DJ Rhino, and he's on right now.
Rhino.
Like one of my favorite LOL.
Oh, you got to put one of her song on.